Hey guys, very crudely yours here. Sorry, the webcam was a little off. I just got back about a couple hours ago from seeing Halloween 2, and first off, I want to say that the film had some, I don't know if I would say cheesy moments, but it had some moments in it where I feel like I tried too hard to think some of the stuff that it wanted to come off um, as serious, and it came off as goofy. But overall, I was incredibly impressed by this film, and I would say that it could be one of the best horror films this year. Um, it starts off with this dream sequence, and you can tell it's a dream sequence from the commercial. Even I have to admit, the commercial for this movie had some really big spoilers. But at the same time, a lot of scenes in the movies, I don't want to say which because it would ruin it, are either altered or not in the movie at all. So the trailer itself is very misleading on some things, but at the same time, it also spoils some things. But first part of the movie is a dream, and I don't want to explain too much about what happens. But anyway, Lori uh, dreams that she's in the hospital, and she dreams that Michael Myers is while he's being transported. The car crashes, the ambulance crashes. He escapes and is set free. Um, the whole thing, if it wasn't a dream, I really wouldn't have liked it because the whole concept of Michael Myers having been shot multiple times, surviving a car crash, and then somehow miraculously still being able to walk away from that. The concept of that was very annoying to me, so I'm glad that particular part was a dream. Like I said, the trailer ruins that, so I have no remorse for saying what I just said. It's not much of a spoiler. Um, Basically, the film explores the fact that Lori and Michael are emotionally connected, and it starts out with this text card where it's talking about how there's this white horse, which is the symbol for emotions that are linked or shared in some way. I'm pretty sure that's what it said. I can't entirely remember. But anyway, this white horse is like the motif of uh, emotions, or almost like rogue emotions or insanity. And Michael Myers is he has these hallucinations where he sees himself as a child, his mother, and this white horse. And basically, Laurie begins having the exact same hallucinations 1 year after the incident that happened in the first Halloween. And she's since her parents died, she's now living with the Brackets. And Annie, if you remember, the first one was carved up really bad, and she has lots of scars on her face, as well as Laurie. That was one thing I loved about the film. Uh, the, the characters, pretty much every one of them, they haven't recovered. It's not they're not. I'm so happy it's Halloween again. I want to be throwing trick or treat parties. They're incredibly scarred by what happened, especially Annie. Um, she's really reclusive in this film, and she's really close to her dad, and it's kind of like the typical 19-year-old way. But since Laurie's parents died and she moved in with the Brackets, she pretty much can do whatever she wants. She really has no authority, so she's covered in tattoos and the scars from the events of the first one as well. She doesn't really kind of she doesn't have much hygiene. Her hair is really kind of grungy looking, much in the same way that mine is now, because it's been over 12 hours since I washed mine. So that was whenever you go all day and all night, kids. Uh, anyway, her room is basically this kind of like almost like hippie punk. That's pretty much what she is. Um, One thing I really liked about it though is even though she kind of grew up really fast because she had no authority, um, she still has a teddy bear that she talks to, so she's still very much a child. And the same thing with Michael Myers, how he still envisions himself as a child in his own hallucinations. Um, Basically, while she's trying to recover from this event, she begins having these really weird hallucinations, which she sees Michael, who she doesn't know is her brother, and who she doesn't know is her mother either. These dreams keep coming back to her, and she's seen a psychiatrist for it, and she's trying to hang out with friends at where she works, and just trying to live her life normally. Where then uh, Michael Myers begins to get the exact same visions as her, and he's been living in the wilderness, off in the woods, He has a Grizzly Adams beard and Willie Nelson hair, and he's just really unkempt and very haggard looking. And he basically, there's a scene in it, I don't want to give away what it is, but it kind of shows that not only are they connected by the mentality, but there's also certain events that happen that Michael does that Laurie feels. And so you can see this kind of like supernatural bond between them, aside from the exact same visions that they both have. But as Halloween rolls around, Michael comes back to Haddonfield, and Laurie, Dr. Loomis has turned into a complete dick in this one. He just basically is capitalizing on the tragedy, saying that he was a victim, so they can't say that he's being unsympathetic toward the victims. And he, if you remember, the one friend, not Annie or Laurie, but the other one whose name I can't remember, who I think her name was like I cannot remember it. I want to say like Nicole or something. I know that's not right though. Anyway, the one who Michael strangled to death in part one, whenever he was doing the whole bedsheet trick. Her father almost kills Dr. Loomis because he's capitalizing on it so much, and they he publishes a book in which he reveals that Michael is Laurie's sister and her real name is Angel Myers. And Laurie freaks out and she goes to this Halloween party to kind of escape her own mind. And while she's there, Michael returns to Haddonfield, and then basically at the end of it, after the party, pretty much the brackets Dr. Loomis, who has a sudden change of heart, which is abrupt and kind of one of the more annoying things about it, because he goes from being the worst asshole and probably one of the best sarcastic characters I've seen in a movie in a very long time. He goes from being that to this really, really, really kind of soft and I to do the right thing, good Samaritan, which I thought was kind of ridiculous. But eventually the brackets, like I've already said, Laurie and Dr. Loomis and Michael all combined at the very end of the movie, but for about the last 30 minutes, this kind of standoff between both of them. And I mean, it's great. It really is. The hallucinations are insane. Anyone that knows me knows that I love incredibly surreal films. This film makes you think. It's not your typical slasher. The hallucinations are very creepy. There's one scene with like a dinner party. It reminds me a lot of something like Alice in Wonderland. It's amazing. There's a lot of gore in this. A lot of nudity, so it will appease your typical slasher fans as well. Very, very brutal. Probably one of the goriest movies I've seen in theaters in a very long time. There's one part, I don't really want to give it away too much, but he grabs this guy and he's pulling him up so tight that he's pulling the tendons extremely tight. And whenever he cuts, you can see the tendons snapping. That scene was incredibly graphic. There's lots of there's like a curb stomping in it. There's a part where a woman has her face smashed into a mirror repeatedly. There's lots of things you can like about the movie. Really, I don't see there being many complaints about it. Which, I mean, of course, someone has to, the same way people have complained about Inglourious Bastards. They're going to complain about it, saying it's horrible. I love the movie. I'd say it's one of the best horror films of the year. Now it's time for my mild complaints. The Dr. Loomis thing was one that I really thought was kind of abrupt and kind of, it felt forced. The ending to the film, it was decent. It reminded me too much like it seemed like they were really trying to capitalize on the end of part 5, which I thought was something that they should not do because I'm not a fan of the ending of part 5. Actually, whenever the last shot, after, I'll just say the shot immediately after the standoff at the very end of the movie, half the audience in the theater laughed. It was goofy looking. But the end shot itself was perfect. It was very masterful. Other things that I really didn't like about it was there was something on the tip of my tongue that was just ready to come out. Geez, I'm running out of time and I can't think. I'll obviously have to do this review in 2 parts. I think this could be the very first 2-part DVD Fiends review I've ever done. I'll go ahead and end this one right here. Just watch part 2 because I can't think of it and it'll come to me as soon as I press the stop button.